way.
It's
moving slow. Slowly moving and moving slowly.
Hello, people.
Yo,
we are here. I know, running late. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Talking to the Facebook is what I was doing. The Facebook app was fighting me. It crashed and it did other things, and it was, among other things. There was conflict. The funny thing is
that German?
no, it is not. It is the German poster for an American movie. That is Humphrey Bogart.
Yeah, it was the German spelling that threw me off.
I like the German spelling.
Conflict.
There was a lot of that at the time.
I can't say it.
In news today,
News.
with recent war breaking out in Europe, France has again.
Don't say.
No, just teasing. To Germany, though, it's all good.
They surrendered.
They surrendered to Germany out of habit.
Right? That's hilarious.
That's just wrong. That's just
I think there's
wrong.
some countries in between there and Germany now.
There was a walk. No, there were countries between them before. The Germans didn't just get there overnight.
They got that stuff.
No, that's not how they got Belgium. Belgium was messier than that. There's,
boots.
yeah, boots on the ground. Well, and that's, conflict is as old as time.
What do you mean? I'm
This-
just playing. I'm just playing. Yeah, it is.
You know what? So I've been.
So when Cain killed Abel, that's what started it all.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that's what started
I'm
it.
joking.
All I'm going to say is anybody out there that doesn't get the reference to brothers that don't recognize each other and then kill each other in their sleep, why don't you look around? If you actually have Cain and Abel in your whatever religious text you read and you're doing that, wow. Tone deaf much?
Dude.
The reason I put up the old movie poster was because I've been thinking a lot about conflict this week. And the last week, I mean, some of it is on all of our minds.
Yeah.
It's hard to not, even if you're able to say I'm not attached, it's hard to not notice and
Yeah,
go.
you can still notice.
On top of it all, there's a little Facebook drama.
What do you mean?
A little Facebook drama.
Why?
I'm running into Buddhist groups that don't want to work together, and they're afraid anybody would take, like, you're taking my people.
I don't know what that's about, I'll be honest.
Well, ego.
Yeah.
The same thing conflict is always about. Somebody's afraid somebody's going to take something. Somebody's afraid somebody has something you don't. It's all about how important you see yourself in the world. It's all about how willing you are to disregard the needs of others.
Okay.
That's where struggle happens.
I have a question. Where's the line between
Or conflict, excuse me.
between like confidence and like arrogance? And how does that? Because I feel like that's where a lot of conflict starts, is when confidence turns into arrogance.
I think you're right. I think the difference between confidence and arrogance is feeling like you know what you're doing versus telling everybody else they don't know what they're doing.
I see.
Whether you having knowledge is a bonus to the group or whether it's a detriment.
Right.
And you know what? And whether or not you're willing to admit that maybe this thing you think you know, you don't.
Right.
That part of confidence is it's okay if I don't know.
Right.
That's the difference between confidence and arrogance.
Okay.
Confidence is it's okay if I don't know.
Right.
That doesn't make me less who I am or affect.
It doesn't change anything if you don't know what's going on.
Right.
Gotcha.
You're okay with not knowing. You're
So
okay with.
arrogance would be, even if you don't know what's going on, you always purport that you know what's going on.
Well, okay. So arrogance might be I think I know what's going on, but I'm not open to the idea that I could be wrong. Even if you're right. Even if you're right, being open to the idea you could be wrong makes you open to the conversation and the discussion. You're sharing things as opposed to telling things. Like you're adding to the. Have you ever heard of stone soup? Stone stew or stones?
Stone stew.
Stone soup.
Stone soup.
The idea behind stone soup is you put a stone in a giant pot and then everybody starts bringing stuff. and you just put all the stuff in, and you see what comes out. You know, you end up with this stew where everybody didn't have enough to make their own soup.
Right.
But everybody throws their vegetables in or whatever they've got or whatever meat they've got, and between it all, it makes a thing that can feed the whole village.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that
Okay.
between arrogance and confidence.
You know, I realized something, like, when we were, like, trying to figure this thing out.
Right? Sound.
And the funniest bit was, like, we had this argument that we had for, like,
Months. Oh my God, months.
And in trying to figure it out, I think we both realized we were both right.
We realized we were both right,
And we both had a piece of what we needed to do.
Right.
We just didn't realize that our two
we
pieces
were fighting over
opposing.
putting the pieces
like,
together.
They weren't in opposing.
I'm going to tell you a story about a box.
What's the story? What's in the box?
What's in the box?
Oh, God.
What's in the box? Tell me what's in the box. It's your wife's head, dude.
Yeah.
It is decidedly your wife's head.
Damn.
So there was this box.
Now, he knew it was in the box the first time. Yes.
So my mom and dad had this huge fight when I was a kid. We were not. I love my mother dearly, and we both are people that will fill our space with clutter, but organized clutter.
Yeah.
Going in the right direction clutter.
Yeah.
Anybody that looks around will notice there's kind of a clutter to it, but it's very organized. I know everything means something. It's not like just random. But anyways, they were fighting over the fact, though, that the main entryway was filled with crap. It was a pain to come into the house every day.
Yeah.
And my mom felt the problem was that there was this white box that was in the way, that had been emptied by somebody but left there.
Yeah.
My dad felt the problem was a different box. It was the large box that somebody had emptied
Right.
and left sitting there.
Right.
After an hour or two of arguing, what they realized was the white box was large. It was a large white box. They were talking about the same box, but they had seen it differently.
Yeah.
And so they were fighting about their perspective, and their ego
Yeah.
wouldn't let them redefine the fact that the reality was
It was
they
the
were
same
talking
box.
about the same. I mean, but we lose. But that happens so often. I think that sometimes, for me, the biggest breakthrough when we were trying to figure out the board, and as we're bringing, anybody out there that wants to come and help with the board, I need help with the board. But we need help with the board. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to come across that way.
Oh, good.
I think our biggest breakthrough was the day we both said, you know what the reality is we're sitting on both sides of this desk with enough duct tape to keep it going, knowing that hopefully there's some we're very creative people. We're really good at that part.
Creative people can be so dumb sometimes.
Well, it's not even
Like,
that.
no. Just like really smart people can be really dumb sometimes, and I think most people forget that. Like,
I think
I can look at some situations and have a better assessment of the situation than most people, but other times it's complete bunk.
Well, and so that's back to arrogance versus confidence.
Yeah.
Am I willing to not know?
Yeah.
So in the places where you go, I'm fighting for the fact that I'm right, but I don't really know, that's all ego at that point. Me too. I'm not, please people don't think that I'm beating up on Ross. That there's a lot of the only way to truly measure what you can learn is by measuring how much you're willing to admit you don't know. It's the not knowing that defines the knowing, not the knowing.
The funny part is that the one time we did actually do a better job of reordering things, it seemed like we were both able to just try and figure it out.
Right.
As opposed to coming into it with it needs to be this way.
Right. Well, and that's my point. That I think the big breakthrough was we were both willing to go, okay, wait a minute, we're fighting over something we don't really know.
Right.
The reality is that we bring an expert in and they're going to go, oh my God, what did you do?
Right.
And I want everybody to know that my chest is broken up. It is in a much better state than it was yesterday. But man, I still have this cough. Yeah, we admitted we didn't know.
Yeah, I think that was big.
I think that the biggest thing you can do is go, the other one is I need help. The solutions to conflict are people admitting they don't know what the hell they're doing. What I'm picturing right now, though, is so like on the news tonight. Is Putin just going, I don't know what I was thinking. I'll be honest. I'm just going to admit here that I had this idea. You know what? I'm looking at it now on paper and going, oh, crap. I can't turn around. I can't go forward. If I turn around, you know what? They're not going to buy the lies I've told them. If I go forward, it's going to be a long, crushing thing, conflict that costs billions of dollars.
Yeah.
I've changed my mind.
I changed my mind.
What if, well, but
I feel like the rest of the world will view that as an insult almost.
No, but the solution to conflict is normalizing the idea that people figured something out. We are so stuck to the idea that we have the answer, that that's where the conflict arises. Because we're arguing over different perspectives instead of the answer. We need all the perspectives to get to an answer, and we're acting like each individual perspective is an answer.
Right.
And it's in bringing them all together that you get real answers, as opposed to people going, no, I got the answer.
Yeah, I don't know what the answer is.
That's the answer.
Sway doesn't have
No, wait a minute. You've got the answer. You just said it.
What?
Yes, that.
That's not the answer either.
Well, no, what? Or I don't have the answer. Who?
Who are you? Who are you?
Ooh. I really want to know. Well, but they were talking, so I was reading this stuff about, okay, what is the most important thing you could teach kids growing up? They were asking teachers, what's the most important thing that kids could learn that would change their outlook on the world?
Probably that you don't owe anybody anything and no one owes you anything.
That is not the answer.
I would say.
The answer is it being okay that you're wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
No.
That's probably, yeah.
The egocentric, selfish one that you just gave is not the answer.
That wasn't egocentric. It was just.
I'm the only one that matters is not the correct way to go.
That wasn't a thought
Well,
about
say
the
what
one
you
that matters.
say. What you said again.
Nobody owes you anything.
Okay.
And you don't owe anybody anything. So
I don't
you
agree with
shouldn't-
that.
I would say that you shouldn't go around expecting people to do things for you.
Well, no, I think you should go around being good to people and other things that.
You shouldn't go around expecting. I don't know.
I guess my problem is I stumble on the man. I think we're supposed to be good to each other.
It's not a
but
matter of.
but if that's your primary thought, that's not included. It
Well, my
preempts that.
thought is if you expect.
No, I'm not saying you should expect things. Because you don't have any control on what's outside of you.
My thought is if you think that someone owes you something, then you're gonna have an expectation.
Well, yeah, no, I don't think anybody owes you anything. I don't mean that. I think you owe everybody something.
What do you owe everybody?
Love and compassion.
I don't think you owe that to anyone but yourself.
I think if you love yourself enough, eventually you'll realize it's no different.
No, but if you love yourself,
No, but
I think you owe it to yourself to love yourself. And if you love yourself, you're going to love other people. I think that's the way that goes.
I know, but
At least I could be wrong.
But no, I agree that the more. But I don't think what you were saying allows for that.
Well, what I was saying was, you don't owe anybody anything.
But we just said you do.
No, that's not. You owe it to yourself to actually be nice.
Aren't you
That-
somebody?
No, I'm saying anybody as in everybody but you.
See, I think it's all inclusive. And so for me, it's, we are way off the topic. I'm going to get back to it in a
I got
minute.
you.
But for me, it's, I have to show compassion to all living things. And the hard part for me is remembering I'm one of them.
Was the irony there that I caught a fly when you said I have to show compassion for all living things?
A little bit. It's also one of those things that if you could just, the camera can't see it, but they know it was there now. Now we know there's a fly in the room. Before, they didn't know there was a fly in the room.
I don't know.
No, what I meant was,
Yeah, I know they couldn't tell before.
they couldn't
It
tell.
was right by my face. I can't accept that. I can't accept.
I don't know where that came from. So, but the solution to conflict is people being willing to admit that they're wrong. So the most important thing you can learn, if you want to learn things, is that you don't know things. And normalizing the idea that getting it wrong doesn't mean you failed, it means you learned something. That the problem is everybody is so attached to being right.
Yeah.
That you can't even have a conversation. And that's where you can't, then there's conflict.
Yeah.
Because nobody's communicating. And nobody's willing to back down and say, well, let me hear what you're saying. That the conflict always arises where people aren't really communicating what they need.
Well,
I try to communicate what I need. I want all of old Soviet Union.
It's peaking.
Is peaking?
Yeah, it like peaks at low levels, and it's weird.
Is peaking.
Yeah, it's weird.
Is peaking? Is peaking. Is not peaking. No peaking. I see no peaking.
Not right now. Not right now.
No peaking.
No, not right now.
Are you peaking? I am peaking at Ukraine.
Oh dear.
Thank you for calling, Mr. Putin. But because you can see it globally, where world powers can't accept when they're right or wrong. Can't go, wait a minute. I'm this deep.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It was like right by my eye, and I was like, why are you here? Like, who invited you?
Ross is having trouble with dealing with conflict.
Yes.
Ross is dealing with one tiny gnat.
You know that guy that said he wouldn't hurt a fly?
Me?
That's not me.
I know that.
Yeah.
I don't.
I don't hurt spiders though. They can live.
Do I blame a horse for swatting a horsefly with its tail? For killing the horsefly? Does the horse change his karma by killing the fly on its butt? Because if you watch, man, it's amazing. They swat their tail like, I mean, it's a straight up fly swatter. I mean, they
Should
take them
I
out.
blame my best friend for the one time he killed a bee with a punch?
He didn't kill the bee.
He killed it. I saw
No,
it.
it stung him.
I saw it.
Okay, whatever.
He punched it,
I
and it died. It didn't like stick to his hand. Like he punched it and moved back, and then it fell on the ground. How was it?
Well, it was probably stunned then, unless he stepped on it.
Okay, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, little, I do. No, but here's why. What was the bee doing? Why did the bee deserve that? I can accept that the fly that the horse killed was aggravating the horse.
I had a bee commit self-deletion on me.
Well, anyways, the point is, do you blame the horse?
Do I blame him? No.
Okay.
I think so. I don't think so.
Then I'm not worried about your fly either.
I don't think so.
That I try to live compassionately to all living things, and at the same time, now I get it. People get obsessed with omnivore versus, vegan versus vegetarian versus as far as when they assess humans. And I can't, when I assess, I'm assessing all living things instead of just assessing us because we're so, like, for us, we're like, no, we're talking about humans. And I'm like, I don't know if you've looked around, some of these other living things seem to be doing a better job. Well, but they're not doing this. Well, no, that's your measure. That's our
I
perspective.
just think they're doing something different. I don't think they're doing a better job, really.
Well, no.
I just think they're doing something different. They're
Welcome to Contrarian
trying to
Corner,
achieve different things.
where no matter what I say, someone will find a way to disagree. My point is
I'm bringing the conflict is what I'm doing.
that
Anyway.
there's a perspective that we have that because we build the biggest anthills, we think we're important. But we're the one choosing how we measure our success. You're trying to compare in a way where you're measuring your success. You're just like you can't measure another human being's success based on your perspective. How can you measure a dolphin's success? What metric do you have?
I don't think that I'm doing it better. I don't think that by the same virtue, I don't think that they're doing it better. I just think it's different. They're living a different life. A dolphin has a very different life than me.
Well, yeah, but I'm pointing out that we're failing on the conflict side.
On the conflict side?
Our show today is about conflict. And so if we measure humans versus all other species on an equal scale, we've failed the worst. We have more conflict. We are constantly at each other. So if the way we're measuring success as a species is by how well it gets along with itself.
That's if that's the way you measure the success.
Okay, but it's just as valid a measure as any other one you choose, because they're all made up.
Okay.
And they're all from our perspective. And our ego...
I don't think that there is a way to measure success relatively to other animals and creatures and life forms.
Well, I'll give you other humans even.
Okay.
Okay, so if you can't measure the success of these animals, because you've decided... excuse me. There's no way for us to understand a perspective that defines what they think of as success.
Yeah.
Think about it for a second. You can't do that for another human either.
Yeah.
That the conflict is over something that isn't even real.
Mm-hmm.
That, oh, you're measuring your success against some metric that somebody else has chosen or that has somehow gotten stuck in your head. The problem is in the measuring. There really isn't a way to measure it. But all measuring of anything is kind of, one of the things that leads to conflict. It's, do I have that or do they have this?
That's the same thing, never mind.
It all struggle in the end just comes back to ego and fear, that attachment to stuff, things that aren't going to stay. That in the end, none of it's permanent, and you're fighting over stuff that...
I just want the joy.
Well, and I think you
I used to buy fake jewelry.
I think if you measure by joy, now we have a metric that we can start looking at other species. Wow, man, those dolphins are playing a bunch. They may have found some meaning in life.
Maybe. I don't know what they're
You're
thinking.
you're so difficult
I
to
don't
speak.
know what they're thinking.
My point was that it appears they're playing.
Yes.
That when there are one of these days, Alice, pow, straight to the moon. Honeymooners. Before my time.
I don't even know.
Jackie Gleason. Conflict's been around a long time.
I feel like I should know that name.
That's okay. You should know the Honeymooners.
No.
I mean, in the world of what made sitcoms, I mean, that deserves some credit. It's the entire, the Flintstones, right?
Yeah.
The Flintstones is the cartoon version of the Honeymooners.
Really?
Sort of. Toned down.
Okay.
The Flintstones was originally not supposed to be a kid's cartoon.
Really? It was supposed to be an adult cartoon?
Sort of.
Okay.
That what you have is the two older adult male friends. You don't have kids. I mean, later on they add Bam Bam and Pebbles because that becomes their audience.
Right, because they got kids.
Well, no.
Watching the show.
Yeah, well, that became where it was anyways. But it's very much based on the idiot, male that thinks he knows everything. How I ended off this far on the Honeymooners, I don't know. The point was... Do you see joy in dogs? Do dogs show joy? I don't know what they're thinking. I know that. Okay, I know that. You don't have to say it again. But I mean, do you think that there is shared joy with other life?
Yeah.
Okay,
They
right.
probably experience joy.
Seems like it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, cats purr, dogs wag their tails. There are things that we think mean that at least.
Yeah.
I mean, dolphins get up and dance on their tails and jump through waves, and there are things they're doing that look like maybe joyous.
Yeah.
So if that becomes the metric, as opposed to how much did I take from everybody?
I don't think there should be any metric. I don't think there should
Well, I don't
be
think you
any
can measure
metric.
joy either. It's a valid point.
I don't think there should be a metric at all. Because especially like when you're joking around with somebody, it doesn't make any sense to be like, "Oh, I'm having more fun than you," or "Then you're having more fun than me."
I guess I don't.
No,
I don't. No, I don't. So I don't think of joy that way. I think of joy as being something found and shared. So I don't have that. And I feel like it's shared amongst species, not just human singular. But so, how do we measure success in a way that takes us out of conflict?
I don't think you should measure success.
No.
Just live life.
We're talking about conflict and a war. We're not talking about just you living life.
Conflict?
That's the subject of the talk.
How should you measure success in relation to conflict?
Right.
Not having it.
Okay.
Maybe.
That's not solution finding at all, though. That doesn't take me in any direction that helps. Hey, stop doesn't do anything. That's the answer I get from everybody. Well, what they ought to do is just lay down their arms, or they ought to just not fight, or they ought to. Okay, but the problem is we're measuring things in. I get that the goal here is we would rather not be measuring things. Absolutely, I'm on board with that. We are, and we're trying to deal with that.
Okay.
So instead of just blowing, they're obviously measuring things. Their ego's obviously involved. How do we get past that? And the answer isn't just lay it down.
I have no clue.
Well, but it's obvious that it's driven by a need to constantly compare. You know, that there's, I guess maybe a lot of it, there's a conflict that I don't understand either.
My thought is, if everyone just lived their own life and did their own thing, and like, not to say if everyone paid attention to themselves, because that doesn't really breed.
I think we have to value ourselves and others.
I think.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
If everyone like valued each other's lives, I don't think like. It's hard to know how to like stop that or stop people from not caring about each other's lives and stuff like that. Like,
well, I think we fight over our individual perspectives. That we fight over how we see the world. And none of us see the world exactly the same. That we don't honor enough the way we all see it differently.
Well, it's hard to honor something else without coming across as disrespectful sometimes.
Huh? Those are the opposite things.
I watched.
Honor and disrespectful don't go together.
I'm saying, okay, I watched some religious thing where it was a whole bunch of religions and they were talking, or a whole bunch of people from a bunch of different religions and they were talking. And basically, one person said, "You all say to each other, 'I respect your religion,' but you also hold the belief that all of you are wrong, and you're the one that's right."
Okay, and that's back to our original problem.
My thought was that how do you respect someone else's opinion and still have your own opinion?
Easily.
Even if your opinion is in opposition to theirs.
Like an adult. Like an adult?
What do you mean easily?
How do you respect somebody else's perspective and opinion? Yes. It's theirs, not yours. Why are you attached to their opinion? How does that affect you? Why is your ego so driven that you think that them having a different opinion matters relative to your opinion? You were arrogant, not confident. Do you know what I mean? How does somebody else's thought affect my thought unless I let it? No, you can be very respectful and honor people. There's no need for the disrespect. I personally often talk about the fact that's why anybody trying to tell you exactly what happens next is guessing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they don't feel like they have the word of this or the word of that, but I'm saying we haven't been to before or after.
Yeah.
I can't reasonably, in a way that is other than arrogant, talk about a place I've never been.
Yeah.
Now, now people can come together and go, hey, this is my view of it. That's my view of it. And I accept all of those views. I can, whatever. So it's like when we have somebody in and they talk about, they can talk about God in a way that's very Christian. So they talk about feeling the Spirit.
Right.
Okay. I don't care what you call the energies I feel. I'm not attached to the names of them. I'm not attached to whether you're talking about the universe or God or, Jupiter. I don't care.
How do you get other people to take that opinion?
It's really hard. In some places. Some places are very open to the idea. That Thich Nhat Hanh and the Dalai Lama speak often on the fact you can be Buddhist in any religion you want. Buddhism is not a religion. Sorry. I know there's some people really upset at me right now. When you get so lost in any of them that your thought is no longer involved and you're just repeating, all you're doing is repeating. That's not meaningful.
Right, I got you.
That we can all get lost in whatever form of scripture. And once you start defining wisdom as having a single source, quickly you're foolish. Because it's all human and none of us got it all right.
Right.
The beauty of it is, if you go looking everywhere, instead of in a single place, you find the related wisdoms.
Right.
You find that it all boils down to the same thing. You go, wow, this sounds like one message over and over again, but to different people.
Right.
Hey, treat each other well. Hey, be present in the moment. Offer help to those you can. These are all tenets of every major faith. That to a great extent we owe the last 1,000 years of wars to all the children of Solomon. Hebrew, Muslim, and Christian, as they fought over who controlled their Holy Land.
The last 10 years of wars?
100, I'm sorry. Oh, no, I said that. No, I apologize. No, I said 1,000. I said 1,000, and I meant 1,000. Wait a minute. Where'd you come up with 10?
Sorry.
No, definitely 1,000. Definitely 1,000. That once you commit to the idea that I know everything and anybody that disagrees deserves to die, you haven't found a strong argument. You found an excuse for doing what you wanted to do. I don't think there's any God that stands behind that. I don't care whether you think Allah is behind ISIS or whether you think Christ was behind the Crusades. I call bullshit. I think of that as the most, when conflict is blamed on God, that's an easy excuse. It's like, oh no, it wasn't my idea. But somehow you're advancing your armies and getting power because that's what God wanted. Like, or people will tell me, God, he's a vain and glorious God. Why would God be vain? Okay, if I buy into one God, why would he be vain? Vain of what?
The problem that I have with the religions I know of is that it seems like most of them have this idea that you are somehow able to ascertain wisdom that is outside of yourself. And I don't know, sometimes the placement of credit on anything but yourself breeds lack of accountability.
Well, I like to go with, okay, so no matter how far you get, no matter how hard you have worked at being a spiritual human being, and no matter how much you've worked at avoiding conflict and trying to be perfect, you're human.
Yeah.
If you can't admit these are things you're trying to overcome, you'll never overcome them.
Yeah.
That I talked about conflict today because conflict is a lot of what we feel.
Yeah.
Whether it's, our day-to-day watching political situations, global situations, or personal situations.
Mm-hmm.
They all boil down to us thinking we have to always be right. that we're not willing to accept the idea that maybe part of the conflict is we're not willing to admit we don't know something, or that we could be wrong.
How do you not get sucked up in that? Because once you get into the argument, it's very easy to just double down, especially when the people around you have doubled down. So now you feel like you have to defend your idea even harder because in your head, this idea makes perfect sense, and in their head, this idea makes perfect sense. So the two of you trying to figure out the idea, how does it not turn into our ideas just clashing as opposed to a give and take?
Well, I mean, it takes a lot from both sides. Both sides have to be willing to admit that maybe having help and other contribution could be meaningful. That in the end, it's whether or not you can accept that it's some combination of things usually. That there's usually a middle path. That there's a middle way. That it's how do you lay down your ego when you're having meaningful thought? Because your ego will skew meaningful thought. It'll screw it up every time. That you can't logic something out and ego it out at the same time. But if two people are willing to lay their ego down and go, okay, how do we figure this out? The problem isn't us. I used to walk around going, okay, you're not the problem, I'm not the problem, we're not the problem. We have a problem we need to find a solution to. If that makes sense. Like, okay, wait a minute. We're defining ourselves as being the problem, when really there's a problem, and we're big people and we can figure that out.
Right.
So if you look at that on the world conflict stage, it's the unwillingness to even have a conversation.
Right.
If you look at it on the micro stage, two people, it's whether or not you're willing to have a conversation. And it's figuring out a way back to that conversation, because a lot of times you'll end up off, and you'll end up off, and you'll end up off. But you're trying to build a new pattern so there's less conflict. Anybody out there currently running a country, if you're listening, a little conflict management would be cool. Anyways, it really is like 1 o'clock, but it really is like we started late.
Yeah.
But it really is like I'm no, I'm not. I'm pushing as hard as I can.
I'm losing steam.
Did you have some? Was there steam?
Yes.
How'd the sleep go last night, bud?
It's pretty good.
That sounds like, as the person that can see how closed your eyes are, I'm like, I don't think that's true.
I'm not sleepy. I'm just, I don't know, not feeling it today. There's a lot of, there's not even conflict going on in my head right now. It's just, I don't feel 100%.
I get that. I've felt that way all week with the cold. And I think we all get there at some point. But you know what, that's okay. We need to, while we're out there, and we're talking about conflict today, give yourself time to set it down sometimes. Part of the problem is you'll beat your head against something that isn't even happening, to the point that you are so attached to the outcome that no matter what happens, you're not going to be happy.
Right.
So don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry. Be happy. Did you talk to anybody on the Facebook or type anything? I know, I desperately asked before. I said, please, oh, please, 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 do you have it on your screen? You said, yes, I'm gonna do that.
There wasn't anyone to talk to anyway.
There, that doesn't matter.